In the next
I'm
few
not.
years?
I'm not going to even comment on none of that
Yeah.
because again, the focus is kind of what the focus is, and when that time comes,
Yet again, I won't remark on absolutely no part of that in light of the fact that again the center is somewhat what the center is. And when that opportunity arrives, Tang, let you folks know Floyd Mayweather has recently divided his bits of knowledge on the impending battle among Gent Davis and plain Martin Leonard, Ellerby president of Mayweather Advancements, immovably accepts that Tank will pulsate honest Ellerby, certainly affirms straight to the point, Martin can't thump Tank Davis. None of those folks can pulsate Tank Davis Plunts, a decent warrior, he can't thump Tank. However, Derby knows about this tune, having seen the grandiosity of past lightweight competitors, like Ryan Garcia, just to see them flounder when it makes the biggest difference in the ring anyway. In a different meeting, Ellerby gave honest Martin a claim ritualistically, blessing him as the following challenger for Javin Davis. Yet when squeezed about the matchup, Ellerby's disposition moved suddenly. He seemed uncomfortable, as though confronting the examination of a persistent cross-examiner from hundreds of years, past pitbull style. He battles one way, he extremely forceful, he's exceptionally forceful. And Rolly and his coach have been dealing with ways of countering that sort of stuff, and he won't consistently run up in there on Rolly. While Ellerby was in the middle of storing a claim upon Martin, he was unable to get away from the unavoidable truth. Martin essentially doesn't have the stuff to eclipse Tank. Martin's nearby success against a lesser rival like Harit Aeon fills in as a glaring sign that he's unfit to vanquish Tank, or some other top 10 tip-top competitors anyway. Averill perceived blunt Martin's ability, highlighting his significant abilities in the ring, when stood up to with reactions in regards to Martin's exhibition against our Harry Toomey and Ellerby. Steadfastly guarded him, he resolutely wouldn't engage any reasons or questions about Martin's capacities, affirming that all contenders, including Martin, merit acknowledgement for their ability, and ought to be regarded in like manner. Straightforward, Martin's a decent contender, he's an excellent warrior. And a portion of the things I've been hearing of late pretty much him. Just, from simply perusing, it resembles individuals need to rationalize. Now they need to rationalize. I don't make no for who they need to rationalize to discussing this warrior ain't so good. And not don't have any desire to hear that this large number of warriors are generally bad. The influence elements are clear. Tank is the essential wellspring of cash for themselves, as well as his group isn't willing to endanger that status by setting him in opposition to a danger, yet fans are becoming worn out on these uneven matchups. They long to see Tank tried against genuinely considerable rivals. Disregarding this stressed the expertise level of all contenders, declining to minimize their capacities. He praised straightforward Martin as a committed and gifted fighter who generally does everything he can in the ring regardless. Ellerby sincerely communicated his questions about Martin's possibilities against Tank, portraying Tank as a diverse contender with a sharp boxing mind, equipped for adjusting to any style. Ellerby couldn't contain his expectation for Tank's impending sessions, even while recognizing Shop's ability. This large number of warriors are great. Candid Martin ain't no ch. He battles, he can't pulsate Tank, however, he's a decent fighter. He's a smooth fighter. Tank can do all of that, however, no doubt Tank can do all that. And afterward you realize T-Tank does what he tanks, has a very high intelligence level, He can do it all, he can box, he can bang. The facts really confirm that Von Davis stays a transcending figure in the domain of boxing with his possible return, and discusses future battles, touching off intense energy among fans and supporters. While it very well may be too soon to analyze the complexities of the matchup, it's simply normal to look for bits of knowledge from those dug in the realm of battle sports. Kermel Modon has added his voice to the conversation, offering his viewpoint on the unfurling story. When squeezed about his viewpoints on the confrontation among Davis and Martin, Modon didn't stay away. The journalist questioned, Might I at any point get a forecast on Tank versus Straight to the point from you, assuming that battle were to come modinated, I believe? It will be an extraordinary match I feel like playing. We'll presumably get the initial, not many rounds we realize Tank offers adjusts a ton anyway, Moton. Additionally, notice that Tank wouldn't burn through much time utilizing his broad experience to close the hole with Candid and force his strength to get triumph in the challenge mode unadded. I feel like he'll likely catch him he used to experience and look him up some other time on in the battle and get the name in an exhaustive investigation. Showbiz the grown-up has recently underlined the significance of Tank's expected move to the 140 pounds division as a basic step in hardening his heritage inside the boxing circle. He communicated moving forward to the 140 pounds division isn't a move, it's a fantastic jump towards significance. Tank's excursion from 135 to 140 pounds is more than weight, it's about heritage. This discussion isn't planned to reduce Tank's standing or straightforwardly contrast him with different contenders like Devin Haney. Rather, it digs into the domain of reasonableness and rationale, zeroing in on the essential moves fundamental for Tank to set his place among, in closings, unbelievable figures. Showbiz said the squared circle inheritance is manufactured by the discharge of challenge, and difficulty for Tank moving to 140 isn't running from contest, it's running towards history. The focal contention rotates around the possibility that the 135 pounds boxing division doesn't offer Davis the imperative difficulties to immovably lay out his inheritance as one of the record-breaking greats in the game. Northright Elmy, it's only more regular for him. He needs to make his own inheritance. Showbiz underscored Davis' introduction to the 140 PB division during his session against Mario Barros. He said that Tank's experience with Barros at 140 pounds had been a story of forced distress and key watchfulness. He noticed that it had been a noteworthy section that highlighted the requirement for a greater stage to carve Tank's name among the boxing immortals. The assessment dug further into verifiable points of reference. For example, Vasily Lomachenko and Floyd Mayweather, both of whom confronted comparative difficulties while climbing to higher weight classes. Anyway, they figured out how to beat these obstacles and make progress through their uncommon gifts. Shiz expressed that, like Lomachenko and Mayweather, Tank had the expertise and the heart to vanquish higher divisions. He stressed that there wasn't really any need to focus on size, but instead about system speed and soul. Additionally, Showbiz contended that the genuine difficulties and huge sessions for Davis a load in the 140 pounds weight class. He doesn't battle dark, smooth warriors. That is all a race currently battling Forthright Martin. I'm incredibly intrigued to perceive how Gervonta Tank Davis looks against a high contender intelligence level, incredible development wards away from him. Foot not a very remarkable puncher, so he's more efficient with his punches than Tank needs to box him forcefully and go get him. I simply need to see that unique perceive how Tank look. It can assist me with envisioning how much difficulty he'll be in against Devin Haney, or how simple it'll be for him for Dion Haney warriors like Shakur Stevenson present imposing difficulties that are urgent for cementing Davis' heritage. Discussing it, Shiz said the excursion of a warrior is estimated by the type of his rivals at 140 elves. Imposing foes like Shaq Stevenson anticipate offering Tank the fights deserving of a legend anyway. The most recent reports propose that Shakur Stevenson, the expanding light in the domain of boxing, is prepared for a victorious revisitation of his underlying foundations as he shields his title on home turf in New Jersey. Set to conflict with our Haritunian, the WBC lightweight boss, expects a thrilling standoff scheduled to unfurl in the midst of the charged climate of the Prudential Center in Newark. In the wake of securing